Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. I am MKT, and it is the 4th of the 5th month in part 2 of COVID. People are thinking, do you have an intro for today? I don't. I just want to congratulate you two gentlemen. One of them, James Zillingsley, of course. We know by now. Great hair, great beard, coffee influencer, big character guy, has a girlfriend. Any other positive features about you, James?
I can be funny.
No,
wait, I got another one. I'm a showman.
A showman.
I'm a showman.
A true showman in the true sense of the word. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
The president of... I almost feel like the Portugueseisms of all Portugal within the Portuguese nation on planet Earth. Paulo Diaz. Paulo, the reason I didn't do an intro, gentlemen, was I want to know how you guys feel about surviving 5 months of part 2 of COVID. You guys are special people. How's that going for you?
I could do without James licking me. I mean, that's what makes it harder. Every time I see him, he licks me like a little puppy.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
And I'd prefer we didn't do that, James.
No, that would obviously be because of COVID, as well as you just weren't raised that way.
It's a damned pandemic, right?
Yeah, for one.
And also, I'd prefer not to be licked as a greeting. It's great for a dog. Great if your girlfriend's a stripper. But by your colleague...
Yeah. It's listen, there's unorthodox, and then there's almost over the edge.
And I've calmed him down, because now it's just like face and neck area licking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before it was everywhere. So.
That's with feedback, huh?
Open season. No, I just hit him on the nose with the newspaper. It's hard though, because I had explained to him like a Gen Z what's a newspaper.
Yeah, sure. He didn't realize what it was.
Why is your newspaper on paper and not on the iPad? What the hell's going on?
Face looking how, James?
Not gonna lie to you, have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, again, you're just licking everything.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I'm open-minded, by the way. If licking is your thing, as long as Paulo's explained what are his personal boundaries and you're okay with those, I think that's a good place to build
You
from.
need to establish the boundaries.
You
That's
do.
what I had to do.
You do. And hey, shout out to you for responding to those, James. It seems like you've calmed down. You're now just at face and neck. Who knows where you started? I don't really want to get into that. Shout out to that. Shout out to taking feedback and growing, huh, James? This morning's been a big morning of growth for you.
You better believe it.
Man. Paulo, what's been happening? I mean, so you guys, we're going to talk a little bit today about Man United trying to bring down all of football everywhere. Tough weekend, huh?
Can I comment?
Sure, please do.
Your ruthless fans ruined our game, Paolo.
So, firstly, James, I'd like to school you on something. For all the Liverpool supporters, so firstly, a lot of the outcry around it was very pearl clutching and sanctimonious. Oh my. And there was some of it on this show which I will not comment on, but I wasn't 100%. I understand where you came from and I take your point, but I would have drawn a different comparison. I think what you've got to be careful of is to not allow, and this is what happens in every sort of uprising or any moment like that, you've got idiots, right?
Sure.
And those idiots that got into the field and those idiots that caused the trouble are guys who aren't invited to family functions and fight at their cousin's wedding, okay? That's them, right? They're morons, right?
Yeah.
And what's happened is that we're allowing the damnation of the morons to override what was a very good protest, okay? Liverpool supporters, James, I mean, what you're saying, I know you say it in jest, but a lot of Liverpool supporters have been on their high horse. Oh, how dare they? Liverpool supporters associations, many of them have said they try to coordinate with the Manchester United supporters.
Really?
They were trying to go and use the protest against their own owners as well. Just logistically, they couldn't get it together. So logistics allowing, there would have been Liverpool supporters there as well. This is the hatred that is going on for these owners right now, that fans of Liverpool and United are supporting each other to take down each other's owners, right? So this is what's happening. The reason it came to this point, and Umbulelo, I know you were saying we need to keep order and we need to keep structure and we need to keep, and I agree with that. But since 2005, not a Glazer has had a word, has spoken and said a single word to a United supporter. First Ferguson was their shield, then Woodward was their shield. The shields are down, right? Manchester United Supporters Trust has given them till Friday to respond and just come out and talk to us. Do you think they will?
Absolutely not.
Probably
and I
not,
wouldn't
no.
if I was
No,
the Glazers.
they will not. And this has been, United supporters have gone the right way. They've done the green and gold. They've done the peaceful protests. They've done the boycotting. They've done the right things. They started Salford FC. They went to government and said, help us protect our social institutions. And there was an act, and there is a new one. There's relooking at that. They've gone the right ways to do it. Nothing happens. It's always peaceful because it's nice to sit on the other side. Do you think the Glazers even saw that?
No.
There's no way they even saw that till the next morning, right?
In fact, it didn't even feature in their... They've got a guy running their lives who it didn't even feature on their agendas.
Nothing, right? Who do they care? What I think was powerful, and this is because of the idiots, what was powerful is that possibly the second biggest football game in the world, besides Barca and Real Madrid, and I'd say even probably on par, got postponed because of fans. Now that's powerful. Okay, you don't do that on a whim, right? Now, if the morons don't get on, we don't postpone the game, so it's a less of two evils. That's powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they go, wow, here's our power. I think fans, the ESL showed fans that we can stand together and bring things down. Umblelo, you are right on the other fact that fans also, there is a degree of going, oh, we know how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
English football, English fans, for some reason, they deify themselves.
Yeah.
So there is an element of that. But at the same time, there's also fans being treated badly. This is their club that's been there before. The Glazers will be there afterwards. And if not it's not the Glazers, it's the FSC group.
Yeah.
FSG.
Yeah.
If it's not them, it's Kroenke. It's all these owners. And I also feel uncomfortable about the foreign aspects because I do feel there's a foreign owner.
I said it yesterday.
You did say it?
There's a Brexit fervor.
There is, and I would say a lot of the people who got onto the field were Brexiteers, but for the fact they were 12 years old. So I mean, let's also not dispute that they were kids there for the gram and for the TikToks.
Yes.
And if it wasn't the fact that there was no school yesterday in the UK, there wouldn't have been as many kids. So let's not get too caught up in it. I think by damning the few, because the many had a point, and they're doing it on behalf of all fans. Now, the dangerous side is, do they do it again? Do they try throw games again? Do the next group of fans now try to do it? Does it become a theme? Does it become a problem? That's when the Premier League's got to act. Will the Premier League act? No, they won't.
Well,
they're feeling themselves, like you rightly said.
I read last night, sorry to interrupt you, that the Premier League is actually looking at a points deduction for Manchester United.
100%. Take the points and give them to Liverpool. I 100% say that.
Wow.
I'll 100% say that. It's easy to say because there's not much at risk. But even if we were sitting, I would say take the points from United and give it to Liverpool. Because the Glazers don't care until their asset is devalued. What devalues their asset? Games being postponed, points being taken away, toxic atmosphere. I love the fact that every fan there, 90% had a piece of United merchandise on. So it's like a way to show them. But let's start doing it. So I would have no problem if now in the rest of the season, United supporters stop every game and lose every point. And then hand it to the opponents.
Yeah.
Suddenly we got something going on. But they won't because that hurts the team. And the team, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
But I'll say in this situation, give the points to Liverpool. And I'd say the same thing if we needed 3 points to get in Champions League or 3 points to survive. I'd say give the points to Liverpool.
I agree,
that hurts
because
the Glazers.
We need all the help we can get right now.
Well, yeah, you are even with that 3 points, you're not going to make the Champions League.
Because that hurts. That hurts. It hurts the team.
Yes.
But invariably it starts hurting the Glazers.
Now, let's get into a real life situation. Glazers out. Then what? It's interesting to me is what? Just another billionaire?
Well, so nice people don't have 4 billion, right? Because who are you going to sell to? An oil state, and they're great. Okay.
They're lovely people.
They're lovely people.
Yeah.
Ogliok, they also got their money through legitimate means.
Yeah.
We
Dangote, of course, we know what he's...
China can't buy. And do we really want that sort of... So there aren't nice people with 4 billion. Jeff Bezos and Zuckerberg. Okay, and then what they're going to do. You know what I mean? So be careful what you wish for because you just may get it.
Yeah, 100%.
I just think Glazers... Also what I loved about it is it happened on a weekend when no one could put out PR spin. They had to shut their social down for the bigger picture.
Yeah, very
and
clever.
no one could spin it. And that's what I loved about it. Nobody could use social to manipulate and spin like the Glazers love to do. You know what? If the Glazers go, you're just going to get another one. you're just going to get another one, right? I find things like, I'm jumping all over the place because there's a lot to digest. Gary Neville, he's also can have his moronic moments because he's the one that's like a giddy little schoolgirl when Solskjaer and United beat PSG. How long your contract and when you're going to sign? It's like, shut up, Gary. Can we just like keep it together? So he does have those moments.
I got you.
He's also being a bit duplicitous because Salford FC is run perfectly.
Yeah.
There's no financial doping. Oh, by the way, Peter Lim is not a billionaire.
Yeah.
Who's the guy funding the whole thing. Trust
Yes.
me, Beckham's not funding it. So Peter Lim's funding it. Okay. So you've got a billionaire there. And this whole thing about, United's rotting. There's nothing around Old Trafford. And trust me, Old Trafford, around that area, I was shocked at what was around there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I've been there.
You've got Old Trafford, beautiful. You've got Sir Matt Busby Way, legendary, iconic. But the part we came in on where the buses drop you, you're walking through like yards, lots,
Yeah.
full of building material, right? And then you got Hotel Football, which Neville owns, and 200 meters away you got Old Trafford. And Neville's saying, the whole area, the fan experience. Hello, Neville, because it's in your interests for someone to plow money into that area because you've got an interest in that. So you're being a little bit disingenuous, and I think people see through that. So what would a new owner bring in? I feel the Glazers have put money to the team. They really have. They've put $1 billion.
Yeah.
They've put money in.
That's what I don't get. What's the gripe?
I don't. You know what? It's the community. Firstly, it's they're not putting their own money in. Granted.
Yes.
Okay.
Leveraging the club, we get that.
Okay.
Every owner's doing. Well, outside of Abramovich, everyone's doing it that way.
Everyone is doing it that way. Okay. They've put money in. They've supported every manager.
Better than other than Abramovich.
$1 billion.
And City, nobody supports like United.
Since Ferguson left, it's £1 billion.
So that's
Never mind what Ferguson was given.
But do they want George Best owning the club? What's the gripe? Somebody they can feel, an owner they can feel, and not this cold hand from above.
I think it's across the board that they want this German model. Arsenal wants it, Liverpool wants it, they want this 50+1. Okay, I bet you any owner would say, bring me 2 billion, bring me $1 billion. Fans, bring it, and we'll look at the model. Where are they going to do that?
Yeesh, you're not going to get the Americans.
How are they going to do that? So all you're going to do, nice guys don't have $4 billion.
So my last question, and this is a great way to actually open the show because we are going to be talking. I'm going to talk about the new EPL charter and why it scares me as somebody who, by the way, I'm very left and a theoretical Marxist. Before I get into the economic side of things, I'm very left. Myself and a guy called Gareth Cliff have had our tips before, and we will continue probably till he dies, until I die. What I'm interested in from a business side, cool. I understand the community thing is we already know what football in England looks like without money. It's called the Championship. Because this idea that the 50% of the fans are going to take over and you're going to run it well, it's going to look like Germany. By the way, do you know, like I know everybody thinks Dortmund's awesome. Dortmund make a 20th of what of the bottom Premier League in revenues.
But also, I mean, just start looking into that 50+1, okay? Dortmund have separated out. They've got the Dortmund business and the football team.
Yeah.
So it's also not all cut and dried. RB Leipzig found a way around that.
17 board members who are all Red Bull employees, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not to say there aren't ways around it. And if they can do it in Germany, someone will do it in England. It's not that. I think that's what they want. The Glazers the Glazers have got to talk. They have got to talk. You can't own an asset like Manchester United for 15, 16 years and not talk. That is outrageous. Even say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Even just say a bad thing. You have to talk.
And then, so now, the Glazers, for those who don't know, are a legacy American family. This is not a joker family. They're a global juggernaut, right? Stan Kroenke owns a tiny little thing called Massmart through his family ties to his wife, right? The FSG guys are for real. They're in business with LeBron James. LeBron's bought into their little Red Sox vibe. If you don't follow baseball, those three are going to talk, and they're going to look. We tried this England thing, but you must understand these billionaires when they go back, and you see it in the NFL, they talk. So I don't want anybody thinking this is just you get rid of the Glazers. Oh, thank goodness they're gone. They go back to America. And they say, we tried with these hooligans. Let's take our money somewhere else. is everyone comfortable with America's close to us now? Because I know everybody thinks, oh no, Microsoft will come along. Bill Gates is going to go, guys, you were there. What happened?
Well, Bill Gates has got another problem. As
I was
of
about to
this
say
morning.
he's got a divorce to pay.
No,
for
no.
now.
Paid for already. She's not demanding anything. Bill Gates slipped her 200. Don't worry about it. That's going fine. It's not the Bezos situation there. I think he cut her a check and said, listen, I don't need this getting messy. I want to try and take down Apple. I've got stuff to do. Take it easy. It didn't work.
And control of a fifth of the people with the vaccine.
Shout out. Bill Gates is busy. He doesn't need a...
He's got some things going on.
He doesn't need a Bezos situation. Here's your 200 million. It was a pleasure. Maybe it wasn't. Get the hell out. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. My point is, these are legacy families. Nobody gets to the probably trillions that they have. I don't even want to know. I don't want to speculate on how much money is between Kroenke and the Glazers. Those guys go back to America. You know what they're going to say to Jerry Jones? you got to listen to what these clowns are doing in England. Really? I was thinking about working with Daniel Levy and the NFL stuff. Oh, really? Then you know what they do? They go to Roger Goodell and they go, Roger, we're not getting in business with that. We're not doing this NFL thing. By the way, when we suggested a closed league or even suggested pumping 300 million guaranteed every year, they laughed at us. Roger Goodell's going to have a problem because then you know what? You've got 30 billionaires who run the NFL and they go, Roger, this thing at Spurs, that's not, remember what we promised? We can't do that.
I think the Premier League fans
We can't work with
need
that.
to be, and the Premier League in general, you're going to go through the charter now. I think they must be careful what they're wishing for. They must be careful what they're pushing for because they may get something. And we're old enough to remember, and you mentioned it yesterday, what football looked like before the Premier League, right? Even before the 2000s. And I'll tell you something right now. I'm done with this Premier League season. I cannot. Wolves, West Brom yesterday, right? A game with some risk on it. No supporters, no fans. It's cliched, but football is nothing without the fans.
100%.
But it's likely because the fans are fervid. And what do fervid fans with a legacy of hooliganism have? They must be very careful what they're pushing for because you're 100% right. The billionaires talk and they're going to go, right, the Premier League's blocking us off. They're feeling themselves a little bit. This European Super League is coming back. They're just going to do it better and they're going to do it more aggressively. But I just think when you have a cabal of Real Madrid, Barcelona who are into it, Juventus, Roma, the Americans have been at Roma, the Americans have been at AC Milan, there's ripe for takeover at Inter Milan. I just think that something will happen and the Premier League may be left out of it. And I think the Premier League, I think there's virtue in what they're doing, but I really think be careful what you wish for.
There's one thing billionaires don't like is being told they're wrong. Because what they'll do now, I promise you, you know what, I'm calling it now on this show. 2 years' time. Here's what's happening right now.
Football's breaking. It's going to break. It will not be what it was in 2 years' time.
Oh, no.
That's undoubted.
You said a beautiful thing a couple of weeks ago, Paolo, when the ESL happened. Billionaires don't lose. Billionaires never lose. Here's what's happening right now. The Glazers, like you're saying, having a laugh, reading the paper at home. Kroenke's popping in. Hey, what's happening? Well, you know. Now the FSG guys. So John W. Henry, I know. Nice. He's got James's glasses. Looks like a hipster. Cool. Hey, guys. Shout out. I'm doing a video.
Got a banging wife.
That's what, you know, he keeps it real.
Woodward's their cabana boy walking around in his little short. Because you know Woodward's going back to work for the Glazers.
Oh,
that guy's made them so much money.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a job for life.
No.
Right.
He's feeding them right now. He's feeding them strawberries the size of apples. Right? But here's the reality. What these guys are saying to one another. Guys, you heard of this Barcelona thing. They're about, what, 2 billion in debt. Right. Let's go and talk to the Spanish government because they're in a deficit of, I think, a couple of trillion. Let's go have a word with those lads and let's show them what 100 billion looks like. Because the NFL just signed a $120 billion deal just for American TV rights. Please don't think these guys couldn't get that money like that. Let's go talk to these Spanish guys because they actually, it's a circus there. Barcelona, here's the thing, guys. We'll take, write the debt off. We'll take 50% of your club. But while we're at it, we might as well, as Catalunya, let's talk. We noticed you got another team here, Sociedad. Or that's the other Catalunya club, huh?
Espanyol.
Guys, take a seat here. What do you think of 200 million? 200 million, we sort out your problems, we built the stadium, and what do you think is the revenue in China? Because we're in touch with the Chinese as well. My point is the Premier League mustn't, you've said something beautiful, the Premier League mustn't think that billionaires and smart people can't figure out stuff somewhere else. Don't like this idea that if they leave, we'll have ours, right? Another thing, they will talk to the Arabic owners and go, guys, why didn't you buy Italy? And then you know what we do? We do a European Super League.
I 100% feel that's happening. That is going to happen.
Billionaires hate being told they are wrong. I know 2 billionaires. And whenever I push back, both of them, and they don't know each other, they hate being told they're wrong. And you said it before, Paulo, billionaires don't lose. So if England thinks and again, it's that fervor that, I don't want to disconnect the Brexit fervor on the ground from what's happening, even with Gary Neville. He may not consciously realize what he's doing, but it's
100%.
leave us alone, guys. We are Britain, and also Britain's changing. You've heard over the last 15 years.
You were perfect on that yesterday. It was 100%. We know how to do this. We got this. I was like, cool, guys. Just be careful. Just be careful, because your product sucks right now. Your product absolutely sucks.
And billionaires can make Spain great.
Look, I mean, let's be honest about the Premier League, right? Title race has been done since February.
Yep.
And they criticize Germany and France, where there actually is a title race.
Yeah.
Title's been done since February. Top 4, okay, Chelsea. We know Chelsea are going to inevitably get it.
Yeah.
2 teams have been relegated since December.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just treading water. They're trying to create narratives. They're trying to create stories. There is nothing in the Premier League right now.
Yeah.
It is a zombie league right now. It is zombie.
Yeah.
It is zombie.
Careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. Beautifully said, Paulo. Hey, that's the show opener. And that was not planned.
That was intense. I didn't say much because I was taking that all in, and wow.
Oh, you wow.
Wow, guys.
Yeah. And that's a start.
People aren't stupid. People are watching the Premier League right now and they go, I love it, yes. I mean, I talk about the game yesterday. Oh, knife edge, 79th minute, anything could happen. No, it won't.
Yeah.
This is terrible. They do it in every game. They try to create suspense, and I get it. They're just doing their job.
Yeah.
People aren't stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, this game sucks.
Yeah.
This is a zombie league. There are at least the only team who's got anything to play for. Chelsea?
Have they
Literally Chelsea in the whole division.
Wait, have they decided the third team that's being relegated yet?
No, but I mean, that's done. Fulham are gone.
Fulham are gone.
Yeah.
Fulham are
What
gone.
are they? 8 points, 7 points now.
Despite they're done, and they've been done. Those 3 have been relegated since December.
Oh yeah, especially Sheffield.
The only team in that whole division who have any, because no one wants to get Europa. Liverpool don't want Europa. It'll mess their season up.
I thought about it the other day. Just imagine Virgil van Dijk playing Europa League.
Forget
football.
Virgil van Dijk. He was at Celtic for most of his career in Southampton. So he actually is being spoilt by being in anything like Europe. Thiago Alcantara, whose father is a World Cup Brazilian legend winner and has never known anything like failure. Guess what clubs he's played for? Bayern Munich and Barcelona. He's going to be at some Danish club where they probably don't even have pretzels available on the menu, playing away. Think of him.
Salah at 29 years old is going to go, you know what? This is really how I want to see out my last 2-3 years of top level football. Liverpool don't want it. Spurs don't want it. Even West Ham don't want it. So nobody wants Europa, really.
Yeah.
The only team in this league who have anything to play for is Chelsea. They're chasing 4th place.
And listen.
And Leicester may be trying to hold on.
So if sometimes we're just looking at the money. For me, I always care about where are the smart people. Where there's smart people, there's good ideas. Where there's good ideas, there's money. With the billionaires, you lose so much intellectual capital. I know there is a dark side to it all. I'm not saying everyone is a self-made billionaire. I'm just saying, you know what billionaires have is a lot of clever people that do stuff for them all the time. You lose that as well. Access to American markets. Do not think for a second 3 legacy families are going to go back to America and you can just find other Americans. Please do not think that. Plus, you gave us a bit of a tough time. We saw how difficult it was for the Saudis to take over Newcastle, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you're closing everyone out. Plus, do not think they won't talk to the Saudis, please. Please, that is not how billionaires think. And if the Saudis aren't coming here for a good time, they're coming for money.
100%. So, listen, I don't have a solid viewpoint on this, right? I understand why United supporters are so angry because the owners don't talk to them, okay? If the owners talk, do they still want the owners out? They want more transparency. If the owners do go out, who comes in? There's no nice billionaires. No nice person has 4 billion. Simple. And this fan support and this uprising, and we're seeing it, and it's going to keep bubbling and going and going and going. It reaches a breaking point. Now it breaks the Premier League at some point,
Sure.
which is already that like I said, it is a zombie league, the Premier League, right? And like you're now saying, is that there are more attractive options where they will, at least for 15 years,
Yeah.
the Glazers going to Roma.
Oh,
For 15 years, they have statues up. Then they get annoyed with them. They go, okay, well, then we're done with this football thing. 30 years, we're out.
and I know what people say. Oh, but they're Jewish guys. Don't worry about that. We're just in business. Put up Jesus. Put him up everywhere. Here's 5 billion. Let's carry on here. By the way, we've got a little Super League thing coming in 5 years. Oh, give the Vatican maybe swing them $1 billion. Move it on. Oh, you've nailed it, Paulo.
Yeah. No, it's just, it's like I understand all viewpoints, but let's not romanticize. We do romanticize it, but it's like just be really careful what you wish for, because when you get it, you might not like. And you've seen what this was without money.
Every empire is built thinking they will never end.
Your point was perfect. I love that point.
So, hey, all right.
And that was only the first half an hour of the show.
And not even, that wasn't part of the produced stuff. That we didn't even plan that. We didn't talk about. Get out of here. Hey?
I like coming on a Tuesday because it lets everything settle.
Yes.
And you get all the viewpoints across, and then you can sort of like go, okay, here's all the thoughts. You're not coming in hot.
Yeah. Paulo came in
Steaming hot.
thoughts processed. He had a weekend to think about things.
Yeah.
He watched our show yesterday and was like, I need to add to that. Came in, first 5 minutes, laid it all out.
So
White hot.
I had my say.
Incredible.
Yeah. Now, that was good. Hey, listen, let's get into it. EPL charter, we'll talk a little bit about that. We're time traveling with Paulo. That's all I could think about.
That's a good one. I like that. I was going to say time tunnel.
Oh,
No, but don't do it because that's like an old radio thing. So,
Time
but time traveling with Paulo, I like that.
and we can work on that.
I feel like we have to like do a play on words for the P. So like the past with Paulo.
Paulo.
I get
Okay.
there's a lot of P's though, so there's popping. It's like it's a
Not good for mics.
microphone thing because then P's for
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Too many
why you're an
Ps.
editor, James.
no. And editors hate that because it's too many P's.
Mm.
You got to watch your P's.
Yeah, P's pop.
Gotta watch P's and Q's, huh?
Just
no,
P's.
P's and T's
Yeah, different. Yeah.
Don't you guys know the
and B's.
P's.
No. We know. We went to school and listened. We know the P's and Q's thing. That's a different thing.
mind your P's and Q's, huh?
No, different thing. Different
That's swearing, isn't it?
thing. All right, we're going time traveling, and then we'll finish off with old Jimbo and his social media. All right, let's start here, and I think we've covered quite a bit of ground here. So there's a new charter that's kind of making the rounds. Saw it yesterday that it's being proposed. Before we get into it, I just want to say this: there's a reason we all marry, in the end, our mothers and fathers. Everyone, when you meet their husband, and like whenever I meet somebody, I meet the parents, I go, it makes sense, man. Your wife makes sense now. Your husband makes sense. Because we all actually, at our core, are seeking safety, right? We want to be safe. We know rules. And we like rules. We don't only like rules, we like rules we know, by the way. All right? My point is this on that one, is the Premier League was born out of innovation, right? Premier League is born out of innovation. The EPL Owners Charter wants to engage with UEFA, the FA, the EFL, the PFA, and the LMA. Those are all just acronyms, by the way, but it's UEFA, Football Association, English Football League, Players Football Association, and the LMA, which is the League Managers Association. They are not born out of innovation. Those are pen-pushing administrative organizations that actually have a terrible relationship with most players and fans. Most, not all. Most. And I'm being dead honest. We all know this. So let me tell you the problem with this entire thing. The talk has been get the government involved. Make rules with the government. Governments are not in the business of innovation. Governments make rules. People who make rules, their very nature, their mandate is to hold things back. The mandate of all government in the world. We need government, we need rules, we need laws, but I want to have my murderers held back. You know? Like if you're murderous, I'd like some rules for you, and I'd like them to be a little bit tighter. So we need government. I'd like rules for my roads. How are they built? Who builds them? How quickly do they need to be done? What are the standards? It's functional. I want rules for that. I want great administration for, there's healthcare. I want state rules for that. It's important. We need structure. We need rules there. And we need actually big questions asked. Governments are in the business of making rules. So I have some bad news for people, and I live in a country called South Africa. We have a unique history. But if you think governments are here to help anybody, and if you think politicians are here to help anybody, folks, we have history books. The very person who was the bedrock of modern Western society is named Socrates. Absolutely could not stand democracy. He couldn't stand democracy. One of his most famous things is, not everybody should get to vote. Because he understood not everybody's cut out to vote. Not everybody's thought. The unobserved life is not worth living, he said. But he also understood something about politicians. All of them, not some. Stop saying there's good ones out there. All of them are cretinous creatures. Just to become a politician, there has to be something in you. Because who would choose a job where it's thankless, endless, and actually you shouldn't get paid well? No politician should be able to afford a Mercedes-Benz on the planet. I don't just mean our politicians. But somehow they do. And somehow they all around the world seem to come from elite institutions. I wonder why. Because you know what? Rich people love giving up money and power. All right, so rich people go to Oxford, get involved in politics, which doesn't pay and is thankless. Does that sound like a place where rich people would go? The thing with governments is they make rules. If the clubs, Manchester United, Arsenal, and Liverpool, be very careful. Here is my warning to them and why this charter is terrible. UEFA, FA, EFL, PFA, LMA is run by administrators and governments. Let me tell you something about governments, and I've said it, I'll put it out. I'm MKT Inspires on social media. Give me one example in the history of mankind where institutions gave power to the government. People gave power to the government, willingly or unwillingly. And they got that back. Give me one example. I will wait until Jesus comes back for the third time. Until I am worm food. I will wait till then. Tell me one time where governments got their dirty fingers into innovative institutions and gave the power back. Go and look up the history of Standard Oil, John D. Rockefeller, and how that happened, and governments thought more rules would actually mess him up, and he became the wealthiest person as we know in the Western world, in the history of the Western world. But they thought they were making more rules, and they were holding him back, and he innovated, and he took it to another level. Standard Oil, go and look up that story. Unless there is grotesque violence, folks. If you support Liverpool, if you support Arsenal, if you support Manchester United, if Boris Johnson, and by the way, it's illegal with the IOC for governments to get involved in institutions. Really, the Premier League should get a ban, and English players should get a ban if it happens. But okay, that's a different story. If Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal go to number 10 and ask for help, if you think governments will stop at just helping you with this, because what they'll say is, hey, while we're here, we might as well look at your books, and we might as well look at your relationships to your Saudi and Chinese sponsors while we're here. Because governments do one thing brilliantly. They'll tax you. So there's some money that they can't see now. And while you're here, we see you've got noodle sponsors from China. While you're here, let's have a relook at all your contracts that you did there. Because we kind of seeing some of your income streams and while you're here, just pop your ledger down here. And your clubs will never be the same again. Because every time you move, every time you want to move a brick, Boris Johnson will say, oh, by the way, in the mandate that we put in, 1, 2, 3, you can't move that brick because it actually needs to be built to this measurement. Governments love regulating. Football clubs, by their very nature, even as amateur, are in the business of association and innovation. These clubs grew before the billionaires Manchester United became Manchester United because of the people of Manchester. You know what the people did? They left the government out. These institutions had nothing to do as amateur organizations with government. You know why? Government is not in the business of innovation. The very nature of art, and football is art, it is the working class ballet, that's where innovation lives. Now, when you can mix art and business, you get Liverpool as it is today. You get Manchester United as it is today. Ultimately, you get the Premier League. The Premier League itself was born from innovation. Governments don't innovate, and they never give power back. But something else that's really interesting to me. What in the world has English football seen in UEFA all of a sudden that they believe that those are people we're going to go talk to, and what they say is what they will deliver? I want to tell you something. UEFA resents English football and has done since David Gill. David Gill, remember him? He left with Fergie. They resent English football. It's too powerful, they've been saying forever. You know why? English football's rich. And you know what the rich people is, hey, we don't need you. We can have our own pen pushers. Pen pushers hate being left out. Big money, big business. Come here, we want to regulate you. This beast is going to get out of hand. So be very careful. And we know UEFA's history. They just sold, through Platini, they just sold Qatar the World Cup. That's who you're choosing to associate with. Once the Premier League makes this deal, folks, the Premier League as you know it is dead. Because the reason they ran away from the FA, you know why? The FA made rules and they wanted to stay small and they didn't know how to deal with the tragic events of Hillsborough and actually sort it out. Because you don't sort it out with the bobbies on the beat. You get in heavy artillery and you make sure that the hooligans can't come in the stadium. Billionaires did that. Billionaires pay private security and we won't tolerate it. You know who pays for cameras? Billionaires pay for that. Now listen, if you don't like the term billionaires, innovators. There is not a single innovator in government. Folks, business needs to comply with the law. It can't just be a savage beast. But the governments need to be the leash. That is all they need to be. They don't need to be the beast. Because once government's in, government makes laws and taxes. And English football will never be the same again. And you'll never see your football clubs returning to what they are now. If you like Liverpool how it is, if you like to interact with your club the way it is, keep Boris Johnson out of it. Governments make laws. They must do that. Football clubs are an innovation and business. You must do that. Folks, I'll wait. Governments will not give you your clubs back in the same state. You know what they'll do? They'll cut jobs. They will. It is the first thing they will do. Because you know why? Is reduce that. It's too much. We don't like that noodle sponsorship that's written off as ABC. That's going to happen. You know why? Because it's probably against the rules. It's probably some of the relationships. Do you know what happens? In reality, let me tell you what's going to happen. Because governments care about this and they care about politicking. We see you have a relationship with Saudi Arabia. Here, this company is registered in Saudi Arabia. How are you receiving that money? Don't believe me? Just wait 5 years. It's going to happen. UEFA, FA, EFL, PFA, LMA, pen pushers. Those are not organizations to be talking to. Unless you want to be the championship. It won't happen in 1 year. It won't happen in 2 years. But it will happen. And if this mandate gets signed through the government of Britain, there is no... By the way, I don't know if people know this. The state with the most cameras per capita in the world. London, England. In the world. There is no corner where you can move in England without being observed. Or especially in London. That is the government that's going to happen to your football club. Do not think they will do what's best for English football. They will tax you, and ultimately they will drain the club unless you want the championship. And listen, fair enough. For me, people that want to fight the British, I don't want to fight the British people. I love football. I just happen to choose Chelsea and their story and what they sold me. In the United Kingdom, you are welcome to do as you please. But let me tell you, I've seen this story before. I live in South Africa. I just want to tell you for free, let the government get involved in your big businesses that are flourishing. It's a matter of time. Because they have no interest in flourishing. They want to hold things back and stay the same. So, Paulo, to your point, I think, for me, don't feel yourself if you're the Premier League is my thing. And for me, I don't understand this obsession with let the government in. They are not interested in Liverpool. They've got no interest in Manchester United. Boris Johnson could not, what he cares about is the taxation laws that are going to apply that he can squeeze. I'm a politician. I'm going to squeeze it out of Manchester United. And let the Glazers go, because the Glazers don't need to pay tax. Yeah, they'll go do something else. Manchester United, what's actually on your books? That's going to happen. While you're here, Paulo, Man United, take a seat here. I notice you got a Korean sponsor. That didn't pop up on your last report.
Oh no, but that'll come in year 2024. That goes into financial year 2024. Yeah. Listen, before we move on to this, we're going to do something here. I know you are a big critic of the Spanish La Liga because of camera angles. So I've got a lot of media people who watch the show. And they're like, dude, your camera angle is off. It's cutting Umbelelo off on the one angle.
Yes.
So can we take a moment while you and I chat?
Sure.
For James to hop over and go fix that camera. I think it's just, I don't want to go into La Liga territory. Like, I know we're trying to get the head of La Liga Africa in here, but we need to fix our camera angles.
Which is going to happen. And great point.
Before we criticize.
Big production. Big producing there, Paulo. So, we should definitely do that.
On the fly. We're trying to fix the spider cam as it goes along.
Yeah.
I got tired of telling you to move over. That's where the issue came.
And also, I was trying to film James trying to do it on the sly, knowing that he's going to fall into a camera, which I think would have been more of a thing. But I think it's that point of going, you're desperate when you're looking for government to help, and that has been South Africa's story for 25 odd years.
Sure,
is that we don't know how to help ourselves anymore. Governments go help. So even when I see this thing of fan groups and that going to the government and saying, please give us a hand and please support this and whatever. Again, be careful what you wish for, because they will help you, but on their terms.
Oh, yeah.
On their terms. It's such a fascinating thing, this fan charter and this Premier League trying to reset, because, and it's a weird thing, because, as you're talking now, we've got the screens on and watching highlights from different leagues and this whole thing. And I actually realize, I'm starting to get this feeling. This is a personal feeling, and it's not everyone. I don't love the Premier League. I don't support the Premier League. I support a team within the Premier League as much as I support a team within the Spanish league, or I watch, so I'm not locked into this Premier League. And I think this is the thing this Premier League needs to realize, is that nobody loves the Premier League.
Yeah.
We love the teams within it. And it's just quite as easily as interchangeable. In that charter, does it say anything about revisions to the fit and proper persons test?
Yes, it does. It does say something about that. And I was reading it yesterday, and it's the first proposal. So there will be a change to that. One of the things is that
welcome back, James.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Solid.
Welcome back.
At least
are we on Premier League level camera work now?
I would hope so. Let's just have a
that's good stuff.
James,
look at Umbelelo, all his glory there.
Least athletic human being ever, James. And by the way, he had to navigate a couch. And by the way, James is not the shortest person either. What are you, James? 6'3"?
6'2", 6'3".
Carries his height well.
That's a whole conversation. You do carry your height well.
So, but the thing about the fit and proper, you can cheat it. Who was the guy who first was involved in City? It was like been Taksin
Shinawatra, and then his daughter just turned out to be like the biggest monster.
So there's
ever.
ways of cheating that.
Yeah, you had Tony Fernandez at QPR.
Exactly,
so that's where we are right now. But there is a charter where one of the things.
What's the legal thing on a charter? What does a charter mean?
I don't. It's a very British word.
Sounds like a smart people thing, honestly.
Although you can also charter a boat
or a plane.
I feel a charter is pen pusher work for something that's not really binding. I feel you can have a charter, but it doesn't really mean anything. But it sounds
legit, huh?
So it sounds like they're doing something. That's very Premier League. We're doing something without really doing anything.
Listen, for me, again, I've been waiting, and I'll put it out forevermore. It's if the clubs really belong to the people, and I guess this is a nanny state kind of I don't want to say a disease, but if you speak to British and Australian people who live in nanny states, you hear how much they laud the government, and yes, roads, safety, awesome.
The trains arrive on time.
Fantastic.
That's always the thing. Is that people, why are you moving to Australia? Well, the trains arrive on time. But you want to catch a train? Oh, but if I wanted to, they're on time. People on trains are dirty, but time.
Switzerland, trains, love it. No Swiss companies have their companies registered in Switzerland. You know why? They don't want to deal with the government.
Yeah.
You know why? No English companies have their companies registered in England.
They're all in Luxembourg. And
do you know? No, but do you know why?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to deal with Her Majesty's Revenue Services, which is the best, arguably, in the world. They will not miss.
Most of these football clubs aren't registered in England.
Of course not. Because they don't want to deal with government. No, there is no country in the Swedish companies. Volvo, I highly doubt it. I think the state owns some of it. If I had to look into Volvo, I'm pretty sure they are in the Cayman Islands somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's where Manchester United are registered.
Listen, and I'm not shocked. Remember when the Panama Papers leaked? And who was the prime minister then? The handsome son of a gun.
Yeah.
If you imagine douchebag Oxford president, who was the guy before?
Not Cameron?
Cameron.
Blair.
Cameron. No.
Tony Blair's doing the mullet thing now.
Oh, is he?
What?
Have you seen him?
Oh, he's
He's
way.
got full-on 60s rocker hair.
He's had a tough life.
Oh, my
The
God.
Tony Blair.
Tony Blair, Oxford. It's been tough.
Google an image of Tony
It's been
Blair
tough on him.
today, and he looks like Kevin Keegan.
I'd love it. I'd
You'd
love
love
it if he was prime minister again.
No shot.
Look
Yeah.
at that
Oh,
mullet. It's
good for
glorious,
him.
Glorious.
Point is, when those Panama Papers come out, red flag, Cameron family, their legacy companies, where are they? Panama,
Yeah.
Cayman Islands. So even he knew, even his legacy family, by the way, legacy family guy, Oxford, and there's a massive, so I did an exchange 6 months at Eton, right? There's a massive photo of his great-great-grandfather.
Eton like a high school.
Yeah.
It's like a prep school.
No, it's prep school. So it's the feeder school for Oxford.
Right.
It's where they all go. Boris.
Isn't that where they send all the royal kids?
Yes, the red-headed one was there when I was there.
The red-headed one.
Yeah, he's married to the black lady now. What's his name?
Harry.
I will not.
Harry.
Harry.
Yeah, that one.
I
The
exercise my
black
right.
lady.
Yeah, he was there. He was there when I was there.
Meghan.
Anyway, my point is Cameron's great-great-great-grandfather there's a huge photo of him and Boris's family. They are legacy guys. They knew they don't want to deal with Her Majesty. So if the very politicians, and Boris, by the way, another guy, legacy family, his brother cannot stand him, but another guy, legacy family, they were in the Panama Papers. Where are their companies registered? Of course they're not in England. They don't want to deal with the government.
Spoiler alert. It's called Panama Papers for a reason.
I forgot.
Bomb,
Sound
bomb,
thing.
bomb. But this is this is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Is that be very, very careful of government. Even the politicians know. They know. These legacy British families, they know. If you didn't see the Panama Papers, you're welcome to go and look it up. Cameron's family is in there with their companies all over the world, but the UK. So if you think they're going to come in there, right, and you'll never get Liverpool back the same. If they
No.
were even to ever give it back to you, the people, it is going to be such a watered down. And look, let's be honest. There's a reason why rich, smart people don't send their kids globally to the state schools. Why do you think that is? Do people just think rich people, they'll send them to the States? If they do that, it's probably more convenient. But there's a reason why they send them to Harvard. You know why? Because they'll look after it. Keep the government's grubby fingers out of this. And by the way, we're preparing you for the real world, not nonsense.
And, I think you just have to go, well, do you want government involved in football, in English football?
Oof.
The FA, which is a government institution, has looked over or watched over the English football team, the most resourced team, effectively probably outside of Germany, yet no success in modern football times. So what makes you think that they actually know what they're doing?
UEFA. Bunch of pen pushers. We know what they are. We know who these monsters are.
So you guys are saying football's doomed, huh?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't worry about it. Billionaires. I'm telling you they're going to buy Italy and Spain. Football's not doomed. It's at the beginning.
Italy, Spain, more the clubs in. Listen, I would watch a league. I would 100% watch a league. Real Barcelona, PSG, Lyon, Marseille,
Throw Porto in there.
Porto, Benfica, Juventus, the Milans. That gives you 10. I would 100% watch a league like that. 100%.
No Premier League clubs.
No, get out of here. Listen, let me put it to you this way. 15 years ago, if you told somebody you're going to be driving Chinese cars, using Chinese phones in this country, in America, get out of here. Never. The Chinese. Oh. Today, people are driving Havals more than anybody in this country. I was looking at some of the figures, and they're using, is it Huawei? Huawei. It is right. It is neck and neck with Samsung. Don't think smart people can't figure things out.
And in my proposed league, bring in Boca, Flamengo, River Plate. Bring them in. Great. I'd watch it. I would watch that.
And and smart people, like you say, hey, this year, by the way, we're doing it in Argentina.
Yep.
Now, politicians will tell you, yeah, what about, how are you going to fly? No, man, get out the way. We're chartering all the planes. We've bought 15 squares of the main town in Buenos Aires. Don't worry about it. That's what billionaires say. The politicians will tell you, no, that's impossible. Passports, who's going to figure that? No, we've paid someone. Don't worry about it. We've got an app for that. That's the difference. But that is what you'll get. Tax. Folks, governments. It is terrible news. It is so bad. It is so bad for clubs. And ultimately, you know what the problem is? People that make rules. There's one thing. And I want to say this without being flippant. If the people that are campaigning, it's usually poor people that have time, working class people that have time to go and riot, right? Investment bankers don't have time to be at Manchester United on Sunday. They got stuff to do.
And I think that's the point. And I think it's a big problem we have. Yeah, middle class people. I sent them a tweet. Bloody ridiculous. A WhatsApp group. I sent City of Joburg a tweet. I bloody well show them. I pay my bloody taxes.
Damn
that's
right, Sharon.
middle class. There were no middle class people at that protest. It was all working class, and that's the problem.
And here's the thing about governments. Rules apply differently to rich people than you on the street.
Yep.
So I know you love rules. I know the government, get them involved. The rules are for you. They are not for Boris Johnson's kids. The rules will be for you, working class guy who was sitting on top of the net. By the way, who's going to be the meme of the millennium, that young kid.
Did you see when he was trying to climb off? Someone kicked the ball.
So be very, very careful. Football, I love, I come from the working class and I don't wish to separate myself from that. So I understand the very fabric of government is for poor people. They make the rules for you, not for their kids, not for them, not for their compatriots. If you want rules, your clubs are going to be governed. And it's going to be really to keep you out because governments really think, poor people, we really need to squeeze them everywhere, by the way. That's not unique to South Africa.
Yeah, and are you a citizen or a subject? And I think it's very easy in a country that still has a ruling royal family to be a subject.
It's in the fabric of the society.
That's it.
So to the Brits, when in Rome, right? If this is what they want.
When in London. I heard you say, it was bothering me yesterday when you kept saying when in Rome, talking about England. I was like, so I get what you're saying, but I know what you're saying. Sorry to call you up on that.
No,
these things stick in my head and I can't get over it.
Listen, Paolo, good Catholic kid. Rome matters. That must have its own identity. Don't want to be lumped in with London.
Yeah, London.
So when in London.
When in London.
But the when in Rome is a metaphor, actually. James, you look very confused there.
It's like I know exactly what
I know
you're
it's
talking
literal
about.
versus metaphorical, but like
when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Except when it's in London.
Yeah. Then do as the UKites do.
Do as the Ukrainians in London.
Why are we confusing this? Before we move on, because I could see that's what you wanted to do. Just imagine the feeling, right? Of you're a everyday working class person, and you've now broken into Old Trafford. Imagine the feeling you get of walking onto the pitch.
So you know those kids who had the ball?
Yeah.
Do you think they bought a ball just in case, or they found a ball? I mean, there must be balls there.
Do you know what I loved about it? I loved there were some guys with Tesco bags. So my biggest thing...
There's a massive Tesco a block away.
Yeah.
Massive.
They came from the shops,
Like 2-story Tesco a block away.
But do you think they went shopping and they thought, bloody hell, the lads are going rioting? Or they planned it into their day? Do you think they were, all right, I'm going to get my peppers and rice, put that in the car, and then go, or it was just, bloody hell, I'm here,
I
Might
think
as well, huh?
I think there were a large amount of people just having a laugh.
just having a good one.
But that's why I say don't let those morons who were there just to have a laugh and just for the banter diminish what was actually being said and done. Because those were morons who happened to walk into a crowd.
Not a lot of people can say they've kicked off the penalty spot at Old Trafford, huh?
What about the guy who did, I don't know if you saw the one where the guy did the bicycle kick.
Yeah,
No.
this
net,
is
yeah.
phenomenal.
Really?
I threw it up and did a bicycle kick, and he had someone recording it. It was just unbelievable stuff. The guy did a Rabona, which I saw.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that was a beautiful
But that's
thing.
why I found the pearl clutching so ridiculous, because they were just being lads.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of little chavs in their tracksuits who got onto the pitch and acted like morons. There was no malice.
Tell me this though, Paulo. If I'm the Glazers, and this is where it got serious for me. You saw some of the lads got into some of the boardrooms and they got into the higher ups.
It was.
What happens if my daughter's there?
I think it was more. I think the more scary situation would have been the week or so before when the fans got into the training ground.
Yeah, that was.
So that wasn't as publicized, and they confronted. I mean, Solskjaer had to come out and confront them. I think that was more worrying, and then the Lowry. So players, they got into the hotel. Reports were that I think it was Matic, Maguire, Bruno, and Luke Shaw wanted to go out and talk to the fans, but security wouldn't let them because they wanted to go calm the whole situation down.
Terrible idea, not your job.
It's not your job.
It is not your job.
It's not your place.
It's tough to tell players this. You're a paid employee, a low-level paid employee. Actually, you work for a company. And I know that's hard for players to hear because they think they're the stars. You're a paid low-level employee.
And, the players can't really make that much of a stand because also at the end of the day, you can drive the Glazers out. Somebody may come in that's going to pay you less. So it's a very difficult situation for them. That's alleged. But look, anyway, like you're saying, I don't think it ever got to that level of malice. You'd think that the protest was planned. Why was there not enough security? They knew this was happening, so that's slack. They knew this was happening. There are still allegations that the stewards opened the gates.
Yep.
There's no smoke without fire. If
Sure.
somebody's saying that could have happened, okay, because the stewards are just normal dudes. They're volunteers. They're just normal guys.
And they just lads from Manchester.
Exactly. So they could have just let some people in. Like I said, the more worrying thing was when they got into the training ground because that could have ended poorly.
And also, let me tell you, those training grounds are Fort Knox. By the way, it's much harder to get into a training ground. All of them.
When the players are there, you're not going to have
Knox.
major security when the players aren't there.
Yeah.
You only once the players arrive, then you're going to have. You're not going to have major security before.
I'm for me, you know what worried me again is you can hate the Glazers all you want. If I'm the Glazers, I am worried about the break-in thing. Is what if my sons were there? Because I'm sorry, everybody idealizes themselves and they would have said, no, we would have just spoken to them, folks. We know the madness of crowds. Douglas Adams, if you haven't read it, what if my daughter was there? That's you see, for me, I think about that is my God.
But I think treat it for what it was. So I mean, I understand your point, but you can't go say, okay, well, what if? We can't play whataboutery. It's like the situation was they got there, nobody was there.
Yeah.
It didn't escalate to that. So okay, we got off this time. Make sure it doesn't escalate next time. I don't think you can go, well, whataboutery. It's just and be angry of that.
Yeah. For me, you know what? I just don't. And I don't know where this bias comes from. I think it's maybe because I was raised by my dad, and he is a stickler. Once you allow law breaking, you're done. I get the sentiment. I get it. I get the fervor. Get these guys out there stealing our club. If it's illegal to break into Old Trafford, and listen, I have some friends who listen. I lived in Russia for 6 months, and I've kept some of my friends from there who, let me just tell you.
Let me tell you something. In my 20s, I would have been there.
You'd been in the mix, huh?
I would have done it.
I would have been too scared to go to jail.
No, I would have done it. They're not going to arrest all of you.
Yeah.
You get on your record. I would have done it. In my 20s, I would have been there. I would have been caught in the moment. I would have done it.
You would have been.
I would have been full of tinnies from Tesco, and I would have been in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. I would have been in the dugout with the boys.
Can I tell you what's interesting? Because governments love money. You know what I'm looking forward to? Because trust me, in the United Kingdom, London mostly, you cannot move without cameras seeing you, especially at a football stadium. By the way, if you don't know, at football stadiums, if you're banned, they've got the tech now where they can spot your face 100 rows back. sorry, go to that guy, the Texan, go to that guy, he's not allowed to be here. That's a real thing. People always wonder, how do people get banned from stadiums? It's unlike any other league in the world. But here's the thing. I'm really interested to see how this unfolds. If the people that were there all get criminal records, you were spotted, the government saw you, it'll give you just a little highlight what involving the government is taking you to. By the way, because football fans get rowdy. And I know you think at 20, it's cool, it's the lads, it's, all right, I'll tell you what it is. You can never travel again. That's the reality. Not only are you poor,
your passport gets taken
you
away
can
on
never
international.
you will never get a law degree. Every university you go to, hey, what happened here? You were part of what? Turn around. So just be careful. Again, when you're poor, the rules are different for you. And I know, listen, it's a big philosophical argument. I'm actually trying to get a philosopher on the show, a guy who loves Liverpool and world famous. We'll see how that goes, because there
Please
is something.
give me his name off air so I don't insult him before.
Oh, Simon Critchley, you won't know him.
Okay. Oh, I do know him.
Oh,
I know. Yes,
okay.
of course.
Yeah.
Simon Critchley.
Yeah. Oh, you might know him. Sorry.
We both know him. We are cultured.
Espo, I call him.
I didn't understand that one.
All right. Governments, Man United, Arsenal. Careful what you wish for.
Good stuff.
I just do not love governments in anything progressive. My roads, my healthcare, how my women are looked after. Make all of those rules. All of it. Because I want to hold back monsters. In business, not so much. I just want to pay my taxes.
Well, I don't think a lot of people really want to pay taxes.
If I'm in government, no, government needs to be, business must be kept on a leash, in my opinion. I'm not saying business, this nature of the free market and people are good. They are not. But you let billionaires totally get away with it. Come on. So, but hey, careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. All right. Should we hug it out a little bit?
Let's do that.
We'll come back in a little bit, and we are time traveling with Paulo in a little bit. By the way, a tip of the day is one of the best things that's happening right now, huh? If you don't know what I'm talking about, in the intermission, please read the strip at the bottom. It's good stuff. Jimbo, how long you work on that? James does all of that, by the way.
I do spend a good while going through Twitter and stuff to try and find what today's tip of the day is going to be, and I always try and make sure that it's not like, oh, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Some of them like try and make you think. Others are just
having a laugh.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I forgot what today's tip of the day was. It's the same one as yesterday, but we didn't have an intermission, so I'm using the same clip.
All right. Well, let's see what it is. We'll hug it out. MKT Show.
Let's hug it out.
Water polo as well.
I played water polo, one of the most physically demanding sports.
James, you are one of the least athletic people I know. I've played a chukka, I think it's called, hey? I played a chukka of water polo. It is the most tiring thing I've ever done. How did you manage that? You are the least athletic person. And by the way, proviso here, James is a great guy. This is not a reflection on your persona. I know some people in sports they think, if you don't love me in sports, you don't love me at all, because the personality and their act is combined. So let's separate it for you, James. I love you as a person. You're great. You work hard. But you're one of the least athletic people I've ever met, if not the least athletic person. You played water polo.
I did.
Where?
In the pool.
At school.
At which
in the
school?
Pool. At which school?
Yes.
Saints.
What team were you?
I mean, I wasn't any.
Oh, you just played for fun.
I was in a team. I think I was third or fourth team. Though.
No, that's good. Hey, at that institution, that's flipping good. Seriously. You get into you get into a team actually at those schools, but third and fourth, that's not bad. So yeah, but you were telling me about polo.
Physically, the most draining and demanding sport. I don't care what anyone says.
But
It's insane.
do you ever get hot?
In the pool?
Well, I'm just wondering. I mean, because surely any sport you do, you get hot.
Yeah.
Do you get hot?
In polo.
Not that I can
any
remember.
way.
I don't think so, no.
Then it's not the most
No,
demanding.
I'm just. It's just. I've always wondered.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
it makes sense that you wouldn't, but I'm inquisitive mind. You can always learn.
I know what you mean, but listen, you're treading and there's guys pulling you down underwater. That's a good question, Paulo. But polo, huh? The MKT Show. It's the name of this show. And I'm that person. We're not muck about. Waste time here. Tell you about the show. I'll tell you what, we might muck about actually. I changed my mind there. A wise man can always change his mind. If you do like this podcast, let's say, for instance, if you hate it, well, this information is useless to you. But maybe you think to yourself, I like this podcast. Where do I find it? Maybe, it's Mother's Day. I want to listen to it after Mother's Day. I want to save it for the weekend because I work in the week. Cliff Central app, cliffcentral.com, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcast. The MKT Show. We do know that on Apple Podcasts, it's a little bumpy right now. It's like every relationship, it's not always smooth sailing. It's not always Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, right? We're having some problems, but everyone in the podcast world is having issues, right? So if you can't find us there, just hang tight with the new episodes. Otherwise, just go and use something else, like Pocket Casts, because that's where all sophisticated, smart people are. If you're an Apple Podcast, rate us, like us, 5 stars. James, great beard. James, do you really have a girlfriend? People are wondering. These are the comments you can leave. I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm just telling you what you can say. You can say, hey, milk tart doesn't make sense as a dessert. Creme brulee is dumb. It's too moist in the middle. It always falls apart. What happens if I'm full and I want to take it home? Disaster by the time you get home with creme brulee. That can be a comment you can leave, James.
Why is there a light in the fridge but not the freezer?
These are the big questions.
These are the gripping questions, huh?
Yeah. Socrates probably thought of that back then, but he didn't have a word for fridge. It's not, and James, it's easy for you to think, hey, when you say Socrates, do you mean the Brazilian legend? No. Greek guy, a little bit before him.
Very well aware of who you were talking about.
It's easy to confuse it.
You said it yesterday. I like the way you say Socrates. As I said it now, you are saying it right. Because I felt it like the way you sometimes say it, is that the way you say the philosopher versus the footballer?
Yeah.
Socrates.
Because in Portuguese, how would you?
Socrates.
You see, and then the Greek guy?
Socrates. I suppose you would say both the same. Because he said the same.
We need a Greek person on the show.
I just confused the crap
it's
out
the
of
only
myself.
way
or
to
a philosopher.
Yeah.
I don't think I know any Greek people.
If you say a philosopher's name without saying it the right way, did you really say his name?
Yeah, oh, big question.
Huge.
Why did you say it wrong?
Guess you could say that's a bit philosophical, huh?
Are you trying something? There?
Where are we going there, James?
Well, philosopher's name. That was a philosophical question.
I thought you were trying to say a philosopher's called philosophical.
We're going time traveling with Paula. All right. It's the name of the segment. Made it up on the show.
We're workshopping.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. We're workshopping on the fly.
If you have any better ideas, let us know.
Please do. Feel free.
There's also a poll. Sorry, before we jump into...
Oh, yes. And by a poll, we don't mean a Polish person on the show. That's also very easy to confuse.
Nor the poles that are holding up our cameras called tripods.
Or the North Pole. I mean, there's so many poles. By this we mean the one with 2 L's and the foundation of democracy.
Or a guy from the south trying to say my name. Oh, hey, Paul.
How's it, Paul? You're right. How's your Betty?
A Twitter poll.
Where did we go?
You have to be... Some stuff... Do you know what? I have no problem with this. In radio, people always say it's about the listener. No, you're wrong. Some stuff's for us. And I have no problem with leaving out the listener. All right, James, what is the poll where people can vote? And where can they vote?
The poll is on Cliff C Sport. It's not in a country. And the poll today is: Spurs are still on the search for a new coach. Is the Tottenham job still desirable for a top manager?
What are my options?
Yes, no, and it never was.
Oh, brutal last option there.
Interesting thing. I think Paul Fonseca is leaving Roma at the end of the season. I don't think that'll be a bad fit. Spurs.
Profile.
I think won't be demanding because there's also swirlings around in Portugal that Nuno Espirito Santos could be Spurs coach.
Yeesh.
So I don't know.
How does Levy and George Mendes mix?
Oh, you'd love him. Bring that contact book to White Hart Lane.
Yeesh.
Or what? The new Tottenham Stadium. I don't know.
I'm not sure if George Mendes, because he doesn't pitch up at Real Madrid much. There's a reason for that. No. Florentino Perez. I don't like feedback.
No, but I see. Listen, I'm just saying. Paul Fonseca is available. He's sort of glamorous, urbane, fits sort of Spurs, plays good football
What you were hoping for with Jose without the demand.
without Jose, yeah. No,
Without the
Without having him.
special
without
one.
having him.
Really, what Spurs want is to
Could-
date a supermodel who isn't on drugs. And sorry, folks, it just doesn't happen.
No, they're getting goals out of rehab now. Not to make light of it, but that's where Spurs are now. They went for Nagelsmann.
Yeah.
Nagelsmann said, "Forget it. I've been waiting for this job since I was 9,"
Yeah.
which was last year in Nagelsmann's case. They are now Spurs. Yogi Love, maybe Yogi Love can come picking his nose.
Why
down
wasn't Pizza on Spurs' list? I don't.
Oh,
if
please.
we picking down here now,
Why not? Why not pizza?
African champion, multiple French
Wow,
champion,
why
or
not?
African champion.
While we're at it, why
not?
didn't they look at Stuart Baxter?
Oh, Hervé Renard.
There you go.
There we go.
All vacant.
Have some respect. Have some respect, Daniel Levy.
Was no Bafana coach announced this weekend?
It wasn't announced again because of the swirlings around Benny McCarthy being the new manager, and then apparently Safa released a statement about it.
That's a goddamn.
It was so first
shit.
it was postponed because of COVID, then it was postponed again because of COVID. Now it's postponed again because of Benny McCarthy.
Swirlings.
Swirlings.
What are they worried about? Benny's weight.
Benny's
I
going
have
for
no
the
idea.
league title,
Yeah, with
isn't he?
Amazulu, and they're 15 unbeaten.
So they obviously don't want to disrupt that. So it must be Benny then.
professional. How professional of Safa. For the first time in 24 years,
We're
Safa
doing
have
things
said,
right, huh?
let's stay out the way
I think it's
because
a-
Amazulu is what we
Yes.
support.
Do
Wow.
So you think it's Benny, huh?
Do me a favor. I can't believe what are these people doing? What are they doing?
That's why I don't talk about it, dude. Like,
God, next from Le Coq Sportif, you know who's sponsoring us next? Fordsburg World of Football. God damn it.
I'm not. You know what? I'm sorry. Not my circus. Not my monkeys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not entertained.
Grief.
Bafana are not taking a second of breath from me ever again. Because you know what, James? I'll give you a life lesson, pal. If you're not invested, I'm not invested. I'll leave it at that. If you're not serious, my old man used to say something to me when he used to drop me at football. If we lost, my dad's a different guy. If we lost, my old man would say to me, are you upset? Sometimes I've been, yeah. He goes, I'm not coming if you're not invested. He said, I'm not wasting my Saturdays and Sundays driving you. If you're not invested, get invested. Whether you win or lose, be invested. Bafana are not invested. I'm not investing. Sorry. Bunch of clowns.
They were invested about 11 years ago, and then that was about it.
No, slightly more than that. 98 is the last time we actually were worth anything.
So we have segments of being invested. We were invested.
No,
in that
we've not.
area.
We've
No,
not been invested since '98.
And even then, I don't think they were invested. We just happened to have a proper golden generation.
We still had some change left over from '96.
Exactly.
I think we invested in '96, and then we had some change in '98, and then since then we've been speculating.
And even then, and I knew the great Mr. Twete, right? I knew him personally. He was a family friend. Even then, I'm not sure we were invested. Like Paolo put it beautifully. I think we just had remnants of that. Because the PSL back then, by the way, was as good as anything on this planet. 94 to 96. That Bashin Mahlangu, if you're old, you're like me, you remember those great Pirates teams. Because we went and walked, Orlando Pirates went and walked the African Champions League with that great Jerry Skosana,
Legs of Thunder.
Sempem
You
Junior.
don't get called Legs of Thunder if you got legs of timber.
That's
Or
true.
legs of cotton wool.
No. Because Thor didn't use cotton wool.
No.
Right? It's
Thor
the hammer
didn't
of
go to-
Thor.
You don't go to Builder's Warehouse and
No.
buy one of their
Or Zeus is what I
home
meant.
brand hammers.
No.
No.
Made his own damn hammer.
No. His dad had
right.
lightning. Thunder.
right.
Legs of Thunder. Jeris Kosan.
So you had thunder thighs, huh?
It's the last time we were invested, man. Anyway, no thanks, Bafana. By the way, click like if you're on YouTube before we time travel with Paolo. Great music there, James. We can kill it because I want to time travel with Paolo. Don't really have music for this.
No, I'll add it to my list. So it's a good thing you're talking about 1996 because that's where I'm going to go back. And in this segment, we go to tournaments that James missed because he was an embryo.
Yes.
And in this one, 96, James wasn't even born yet.
I was.
No, you were born? When were you born? 97?
What
What year? 1996?
What year? 96 is what we're talking about.
96.
June, July.
I was just under a year away from being born.
See that?
So you weren't born when this happened.
Not
huh?
Yeah.
even an embryo.
You weren't even in an idea. Your parents.
I was. I was born in February '97.
Both of
That's
you-
a couple of months.
You are.
So where's that? June.
Oh no, he was
6,
probably
8.
just planted, hey?
Probably
Yeah.
your mom
probably-
probably thought, oh my God, there goes my career.
Mm.
That's what she was thinking. Great. By the way, you are a great guy, James. I don't want you to think what I'm not casting any aspersions. I'm just telling you what your mom was probably thinking. She wasn't thinking here's a blessing. But then she thought 1996, there's the Olympics, and Paula's going to take us into that. Cheered her up about James.
So, Olympic football, right? It's got, again, this is something because the English don't like it, it's dismissed,
Right.
right? Like Europa League, like anything the English don't like.
Sure.
They just, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
But a lot of other countries take Olympic football very seriously because it was sort of a weird de facto World Cup. Okay.
Mm.
So obviously Olympics are older than the World Cup, and there was always football within the Olympics, and teams would kind of take it seriously and sort of hold the position while we're playing against, if everyone in the other sports are the best in the world, surely we're the world champions because there's no other way to categorize
And
it.
I just want to jump in there, Paula. Sorry. You know what's ironic is that people keep talking about the working class game. Give us our clubs back. The purest form of football that's left is the Olympics.
100%.
It's amateur.
Well,
Or
no,
amateur. It's under 23.
under 23.
Yeah. Under 20. Okay, sorry.
No,
But-
but
but isn't that-
you're right. So this is where the arguments came from. There was a nascent FIFA, and they were going, well, we don't like the Olympics because the Olympics is amateur. Okay, was amateur at this point, and they're like, well, how can the best in the world be from an amateur tournament? So FIFA didn't like the World Cup because it was in competition to them, and it was only in 1992 that they allowed. No, sorry, it was earlier than that. In 1984, that professionals were allowed in the Olympics. Up until then, it was predominantly student teams. Uruguay count their Olympic wins as part of their World Cup wins. They got the 2 early World Cups,
hectic, okay.
and they got 2 Olympic medals, and they count themselves as 4-time world champions, which technically,
Yeah.
they're right. Technically. But great, for a country that size to have won 4 world championships, good for them. I'll
And
take it.
great food. Uruguay, you ever travel,
Oh.
James? When you and your lady get married, she goes, oh, we should travel. We should do one for food. Oh, Uruguay.
And Cavani. Got to tell you,
Yeah.
love that man. Beautiful. He's a
So what are
stallion.
you saying? I'm traveling for Cavani and food.
Yes.
Cool.
Go lick Cavani instead of me.
I'll tell you where you're taking your lady. One of the... Sorry. When you brought up... yeah, you know what? But don't lick Cavani as much as you lick your lady. That's going to be bad for your honeymoon. Montevideo is where you're taking him, by the way.
Whoa.
I've said what I've said.
It's just
Things- Things got weird. So, I feel you guys are taking the gloss off this very well-researched
No,
segment
no.
here.
Let's. This is big production.
So this is Uruguay. 1992 was the first tournament where every player had to be. So if you're not going to be amateur, you have to be under 23. 1996, which is a tournament we're going to talk about today, and it's got a lot of links to what Mbolelo was talking about, the 96 Bafana team, the AFCON team, is there was the under 23, but even to the Olympics now, you're allowed 3 overage players. All professional, you're allowed 3 overage players to be part of your squad. 96 was the first time this happened. Oh my God, I got to tell you, listen to some of the players that were involved in this tournament. I mean, the mind boggles. And Mbolelo, you will resonate more. James will know them as managers. Roberto Ayala.
Oh, great
Yeah,
centre back. He
Javier-
played for Valencia.
Zanetti was young once. Javier Zanetti, 22 years
Just want
old.
to tell you a story. Sorry. That is the reason I support Inter Milan. That is my favorite.
Zanetti.
He is my favorite athlete of all time, known as El Tractore.
Athlete.
The greatest quads you've ever seen. Played from 16 River Plate, I believe, originally. I might be wrong.
His hair never moved.
but never did. He's a robot. Greatest quads the game's ever seen. El Tractore, from 16 till 40, he was an absolute maestro. Argentina's Maldini. El Tractore, my favorite athlete of all time. And why I support Inter.
We've only got through 2 players so long. Listen to some of these names. Claudio Lopez, Diego Simeone, Crespo, Ariel Ortega.
Oh.
There's the Argentina squad.
So, by the way, shout out Ariel Ortega. Those who don't know who that is it's Leo Messi before Leo Messi without the discipline.
He was supposed to be the guy.
An absolute, another River Plate legend. I am looking for an Ariel Ortega original
Yes.
River Plate shirt. It's impossible to find, even from replica shops that keep this stuff. He was an El Maestro.
I'm looking for Portugal 1991 kit when we won the Under-20 World Cup. I think you can find that. You can't find
Wow.
that. Portugal squad at this World Cup, big name there, Nuno Gomes.
Great player.
Who else do we have here? United States, Alexi Lalas was in there, Casey Keller, Claudio Reyna.
Good players.
Claudio
All
Reyna's
good players. Man City legend.
son. Claudio Reyna's his son,
Yeah.
naturally. France. Who did we have here? Claude Makelele,
Oh, what a boy.
He has a position named after him.
Robert Perez,
Yeah.
Part invincible.
Sylvain Viltord.
Invincible.
Jeez.
I mean, listen to this. Spain, Raul.
Oof.
Spain's greatest in their eyes of all time.
Like Real Madrid role. Yeah.
Yeah, Real Madrid,
Raul
Raul.
Gonzalez, yeah.
Real Madrid, Morientes.
Fernando Morientes.
Even De La Peña.
Oh, Oscar de la Peña.
Oh, my word. And then who's the name that popped out of me? Gaisca Mendieta. We know Mbelelo's got love for him.
World record signing fee, Lazio. Tremendous box-to-box maestro.
Do you want to hear Italy? Nesta,
Oh.
Oof.
Cannavaro,
Oof.
and Pagliuca in defense.
And do you know what they might? Would
Plus
they have had
Buffon in the squad.
both
How
Cannavaros
do
in
you
there?
even score a goal?
Tell
They
me
might have
about it.
both Cannavaros there, or was the other one too young?
Only one. Only
Oh
Fabio.
my God.
I think his
And
brother was
Nesta.
too.
How do you even actually
Paulo
score a goal?
Cannavaro, that's his name. Exactly.
Okay.
Mexico, George Campos, and Blanco.
Oh,
Blanco with the little bunny hop
The
was
bunny-
in the squad.
White Boots, one of the first guys ever, James. Go and look him up. White Boots. Blanco. Absolute character. Bunny hop in the game between two defenders.
You want to hear Brazil squad. Now, Brazil were world champions. Listen to the squad. Now, Brazil take this very seriously.
They do.
They had never won it until they won the last one. And finally, they completed the set of having won everything. Okay? Listen to the side they take here. Dida, Zamaria, Aldair, Flavio Conceição, Roberto Carlos, Bebeto, Juninho, Rivaldo. I mean,
There's-
do me a favor. And, I forget you, 19-year-old Ronaldo Phenomenal.
Oh, okay.
Right there at the bottom of the list.
If I got told we were drawn against Brazil, I would have just been like, it's yours, guys. Just
That's an unbelievable team.
And then
insane.
I'm going to read you the name of Nigeria's team, which will probably give you a hint to who won this. Celestine Babayaro, Taribo West, Kanu, Emmanuel Amanike, Tijani Babangida, JJ Okocha, Victor Ikpeba,
Oh,
Sunday Olise,
such a class defender.
and Daniel Amokachi.
And some players for Everton. Hey, listen, that is an unbelievable lineup. Sunday Olise is Africa's Maldini. Clean defender, class act at the back. Borussia Dortmund legend.
Now, Nigeria's squad, the overage players here were, and not even any of those. I mean, believe it or not, Kanu was 19 at the stage.
Sure.
So not even overage.
Yeah, I buy it. I'm not.
The majority of the squad here, they actually only took one overage player,
Wow.
who was Uche Okechukwu. I
Yeah.
mean, the rest of that squad is their squad. So now why it's important is that the 96 World Cup or 96 AFCON happened that January. Nigeria pulled out at the last minute over political interference. They pulled their squad. This same squad would have come to the AFCON. Now, you can only beat what's in front of you, but you always have to put a little bit of asterisks next to that AFCON win. There was no Nigeria. A Nigeria who had done well at the 94 World Cup, then takes the squad to Atlanta for their chance, and then did well in the 98 World Cup. So this was Nigeria's golden age.
I do have a question quickly. So obviously you've mentioned names of many, many legends.
He's Portuguese. You call them heavies, but heavies. Down in the south, they say heavies.
What's heavies?
Heavies, brother.
Heavies are heavies, but
Heavies, brother.
All right. So you've mentioned many legends, right? How many of them were world class at the time of this Olympics?
So, I mean, the majority of the players I mentioned are under 23.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the fact that I was able to mention so many of them who went on to dominate
Yeah.
the rest of the decade.
Mm.
You go through those players, appeared at World Cups. I don't think the Brazil side won. There are lots of World Cup winners in that Brazil side. Rivaldo, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, remember, he was El Phenomenal. He was part of that 94 World Cup squad. A lot of people don't remember that.
Like Kaká was part of the 98.
Yeah.
Was he 2002? His 2002 World
Yeah.
Cup squad
Oh
didn't
my
play.
God, some-
So while they weren't world class then, they all went to have phenomenal careers. So, I mean, I think it
No,
lends
it
into
tells
something.
you. Yeah, oh, for sure. What a tournament.
And that majority under 23. What a tournament. This is why it stands out in my head as one of my favorite tournaments. One of my favorite tournaments. Another reason why it stands out in my head is at that time I was in Portugal on holiday. So because of the time difference, the games all landed at 8, 9 o'clock. In Europe, in summer, that is prime time. The sun is still up. The girls are still in bikinis.
Yes.
I was 16 years old. My life was the best ever.
Good
right?
for you, dude.
So we were just having the greatest time. And Portugal had a great tournament. Phenomenal tournament. So it gets through the group. Portugal and France go through, lined up against each other. Argentina, Spain. What a matchup. Mexico, Nigeria. A classic. That's always a World Cup game. And Brazil and Ghana. So two African countries do well in the Olympic tournament. Always do well.
Yeah.
They take it seriously. Portugal goes through against France. Probably one of the only times we got the better of them. And we've got a semi-final lineup of Portugal versus Argentina and Nigeria and Brazil. How about this? So Portugal's side, Portugal had a player, sort of Ronaldo before Ronaldo. His name was Danny de Carvalho. Now, in the early 90s, West Ham had a little bit of a foreign import thing going on. Harry Redknapp played the foreign markets quite a bit, started bringing over a lot of foreign players. Paulo Futre was one of them, but he was on his way out. He bought in who went to become the coach of West Ham.
Paulo Di Canio, the great Paulo Di Canio.
Paulo Di Canio came just after that. The centre-back who was their coach not too long ago.
It'll come
Bilic.
Oh, yeah. Slavan.
Bought in Bilic. So he really farmed the market, and he found this young player playing at Sporting called Danny. Now, Danny was supposed to be the guy. We got very excited about him. Scores in his debut, scores in his next game. Danny's a bit of a playboy. Throws his career away a little bit. Okay, retired at 27. But at this stage, everyone was getting super excited about him because they're like, this guy could be the next. From West Ham, he went to Ajax. Probably was the best point of his career. Ajax goes back to Benfica for a little bit. Benfica goes to Atletico Madrid when they were in the second division. Remember when they got relegated?
Wow.
I think they won the championship.
Wow.
Then 2 seasons after they get relegated. Spent a season in the second division. Danny was playing for them. After that, had enough. 27 retires. He's now all over Portuguese TV. Big TV guy. But I mean, what a waste of talent. This guy could have been... He was the first person I saw. Do you know that thing you see where two guys get ready to go take a free kick?
Yeah.
And then they pretend, I was supposed to take it. And then the one guy takes it. Danny was the first guy I ever saw take that.
Yeah.
In an under-20 tournament in Qatar. Under-20 World Cup.
You know what he sounds like? He sounds like Ricardo Quaresma.
But Quaresma went on to... Quaresma was a late developer.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Quaresma since his 30s, he's been outstanding. He won things. I wouldn't even put Danny there. Danny is like probably... to retire at 27, that's Cantona levels, but without the success.
Yeah.
He played a few games for Portugal, was called up a couple of times, made his debut against England. He was supposed to be the guy. Model looks. If you ever look up Danny, he's beautiful. And the funny thing was, at West Ham at the time, he was playing up front with Ian Dowie. Now, Ian Dowie, even though he's a rocket scientist, you know that?
Yeah,
Ian Dowie's
I did know that.
a rocket scientist,
Yeah.
not a good-looking man.
And he's got a twin brother.
Yes. I think his twin brother actually works for NASA.
Yeah, no, they're both.
I'm pretty
well,
sure.
I know he's literally a rocket scientist. Yeah.
I think his because their father was involved was a pilot or built airplanes something. So
Good for the dad, dude. Wait,
well
two
done.
sons, like forget football. Two rocket
Two
scientists.
rocket scientist
like
sons. Do me a favor.
Awesome.
And the thing with Danny and Ian Dowie is that Ian Dowie, the first time he met Danny, he said, "I don't know whether I should pass to him or F him."
Sure, that's a lot, huh?
Oh man, that's awesome.
But anyway, that's just my thing. That's my great wasted talent. That Portugal side was a good functional side. Nuno Gomes was up front. It was the first time that we saw him and his beautiful hair,
Superb hair.
which hasn't moved a day. So Portugal gets to semifinals. This stage, we didn't have the confidence that we probably have now. Argentina beat us. Guess who scores 2 goals?
Ariel Ortega.
Hernan Crespo.
He wasn't bad.
Not a bad player.
He wasn't
Not a bad player. Over in the other semifinal, you got Nigeria and Brazil. I mean, now this is not the Brazil side with a lot of future World Cup winners, future legends of the game. What a ding-dong game, right? Ding-dong. Flavio Conceição scores the first minute. Nerves, Nigeria. Oh, my God,
Yeah.
semifinal of essentially a world championship. Score, Roberto Carlos, 20th minute, scores an own goal. What's he doing so close to goals, Roberto Carlos?
Yeah, that we need to check.
That's
What's
ridiculous.
he doing so
The
close to his
man
own
of
goals?
impossible goals.
Why
huh?
is he so close to his goals? Bebeto, who was their overage player, World Cup winner Bebeto. Oh my God, what a classy striker this guy
Talk
was.
about a bicycle kick. Huh? A scissor kick. The best scissor kick technique you've ever seen. High pants, would wear his pants belly, on the belly.
On the belly. On the belly.
Number,
Bebeto.
number 20.
Romario and Bebeto were like, that was strike. We were spoiled with strike partnerships in the 90s.
Get out of here.
Those
Romario.
two. You know what was the craziest thing? Somebody did a thing. So 94 World Cup, you remember Bebeto's swinging?
Yeah.
And then his son is now a professional player. And when his son scored his first goal in professional football, there was that meme going around saying, if you want to feel real old now, Bebeto's son just scored this goal. And this
And he did the Bambino celebration.
To celebrate it, right?
That's awesome.
So Bebeto scores 28th minute. Flavio Conceição 38th minute. So we're now on 3-1. Nigeria gone. Victor Ikpeba. Remember him?
Some athlete.
Oh, what a player. 78th minute. 3-2. What am I doing here? I got 1.
No, 3-2.
2. 3-2. Yes, it's 3-2. 3-2, 78th minute. Guess who, 90th minute? 19-year-old Nwanku Kanu pops up with the equalizer on the 90th minute.
Taller than you, James. Beanpole legs, this guy.
Beanpole.
Imagine that, you're 19 and you do something like that for your country.
And this
at the
wasn't a Mickey
Olympics.
Mouse Brazil team. You heard that lineup. This is a crazy Brazil team.
Maybe the silkiest, outside of Dimitar Berbatov, maybe the silkiest first touch the Premier League's ever seen. Nwaku Kanu. I still maintain to this day.
100% great player. Remember that goal he scored against Chelsea?
That was
You
against
remember.
Chelsea. That was a hat-trick.
Shh. That was a phenomenal play.
Who did he play for in the Premier League?
Arsenal.
And Portsmouth.
Yeah.
And West Brom for a bit.
FA Cup winner at that Portsmouth team.
That's it.
He's a part of Ari's team there.
He was part of that team. Great player.
Oh, superb.
So the game now goes into extra time, but at this time, James, we explained, this was the period where FIFA and UEFA and everyone were using golden and silver goal. Okay? So the tournament was decided by silver goal. Basically, when you score, the game's over.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wait, that's golden goal.
That was golden goal. What did I say? Silver goal.
Silver
golden
goal.
goal.
Yeah.
Golden goal. 94th minute, Kanu again with the golden goal.
Oh, not a shot.
How crazy is that?
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. It was crazy. Brazil out. That's it. Game done. Game done.
I remember. And do you know why I remember
Imagine
it?
the scenes.
I remember my parents screaming at me because it was obviously Atlanta. The time was ridiculous for the times to be watching those games. I remember being up for that game like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was an outstanding tournament. This is the bloody semi-finals. We haven't got the bronze medal match. So obviously Portugal versus Brazil. Portugal were just done at that point. I think most of the players went off to jam in Miami.
Makes sense.
They were just really over it. They lost 5-0 to Brazil. Ronaldo, Flavio Conceição, and Bebeto with a hat trick got schooled. They
They'll
tied a few Portuguese players a day. So now we head into the final, Nigeria versus Argentina. Nigeria now played a day later, then 2 days later. So they had less time than Argentina to rest. Let me remind you of those lineups. Zanetti, Ayala, Roberto Sensini, Jose Chamot,
Oh my God.
Matias Almeida, Ortega, Claudio Lopez, Hernan Crespo, Diego Simeone on the bench, coached by Daniel Passarella.
It's one of those. It's one of those
talking
games where it's over before it even started. Huh?
Claudio Lopez, his left foot, by the way, so that Valencia team team with him, Ayala,
Hector
and there was-
Cooper's Valencia team. Oh. Mendieta was in there. That was a team. That was a side. Should have won the Champions League for 2000.
Should have done it.
McManaman took them out. Versus the Nigeria side, Taribo West, Celestine Babayaro, Chelsea player as well.
Left back.
He was playing in midfield in this game. Sunday Olise, Victor Ikpeba, JJ Okocha.
Oh,
It's porn, my friends.
JJ Okocha.
Forget about it.
It's porn.
If you're young like James, go and Google JJ Okocha goal against, was it against Ajax or for Ajax? I can't remember.
It was for Ajax.
For Ajax.
And there's also that one he scored for Bolton where he
yes.
I think he beat every player twice. He just beat a player and went back and beat them. Phenomenal.
Just to make sure they were dead, huh?
Ridiculous.
And listen to this lineup. Front three, Babangida, Kanu, Amokachi.
Tijani Babangida is maybe the best athlete football's ever seen. He had a celebration, James. James, by the way, didn't know that the term flick flack was a real thing. He would do
Yes.
flick flacks on the field, but like full-on Olympic routine. That was a celebration, like half the field.
Just doing.
No, ridiculous celebration.
Those are two lineups. Claudio Lopez again, Nigeria. I do remember this. They went a goal down early, 3rd minute. They go a goal down. Nerves, whatever it is, they just don't handle the occasion, go a goal down. But they pull themselves back. Bobby Yaro, 28th minute. Crespo, 50th minute penalty. Argentina 2-1. Nigeria must like something about the 70th minute. Because they go, Amokachi.
Daniel.
Oh, God, that was a great player. 74th minute equalizers. What are we going to do? Hot. It's America. We're talking about, it's very warm. Very warm.
Atlanta.
Sanford Stadium. I don't know where it says Athens, yeah. I don't know where Athens is in America. Obviously in Atlanta.
In Atlanta,
obviously.
I think it might be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Obviously. Hello, wake up, Harlem. 90th minute. You think the game's going?
No shot.
Almanike scores. 90th minute.
No
3-2
shot.
gold medal match. Winner, Brazil beaten. Oh, sorry, Argentina beaten by Nigeria.
Wow.
I
What
remember
are
that so
you
much.
Talking about the goal scorers. Top goal scorers. Crespo with 6. Bebeto with 6. Ronaldo with 5. I mean, this is just
some of those names.
that is a legendary football tournament. The bulk of that Nigeria side went on to play in the 98 World Cup. Quite a few, yeah. And then did they win the AFCON? Not long after that?
Oh, that's a good question. And if they didn't, not good.
I can't remember.
Super Eagles.
But they went on to play in the World Cup. That Argentina side, that made up the Argentina side for most of the late 90s and early 2000s.
That Argentina side should have. And I remember Ortega crying 2002 or in 98. They should have won the world. They should have been in it.
I think all that got added to that is how he got in there. But Pochettino came into that side. And I think who partnered Crespo? No, I think it was Crespo and Claudio Lopez were their front two. Saviola also came in.
Yeah.
But Saviola was in the squad. So that was golden age football. I'm sorry. We talk about Euros and World Cups as tournaments. For me, Atlanta 96 was as pure a football tournament as you could have found.
How good is that Argentina team that Batistuta couldn't get in? That tells you how good Bati. Would he have been too old?
For this team, he wasn't the overage player. So remember, they had 3 overage players. So I mean, somebody has to lose out.
So that's who the striker was in the World Cup, though. Batigol, remember he had a bit of. Was he injured in that 98?
But don't forget that Passarella, and I'm going to tell you something crazy here.
Oh yes, he played Saviola.
So the overage players. So actually, Argentina, the only overage player in that squad that was taken, Simeone was 26. And Sensini was 29, and then Chamat was 27. So Crespo and all of those guys were still within age group.
Incredible.
Remember, Passarella and Batistuta had a problem with each other because Batistuta wouldn't cut his hair.
Yes.
Passarella was a strict man, wanted no players with long hair in his squad. So much so that he dropped Batistuta.
Wow.
Well, Jose Mourinho, I believe,
just because of his
at
hair.
Porto, when Benny had the colourful hair, that's why he dropped him. Because Benny didn't play in that Champions League final, hey?
I don't think he did.
No.
You're right.
Mourinho dropped him for the hair.
Dropped him.
It was for the hair. It wasn't for his ability. It was for the hair, the colourful hair.
Yeah, so Batistuta could have had a more phenomenal career, but obviously Passarella stood by his principles. Fine. Who got around it? It was Maradona's friend, the Caniggia. Caniggia would keep coming back in, but Caniggia was given exemption for some reason that Batistuta wasn't. So that was the 96 Atlanta Olympic men's football tournament.
In the modern day, is that the best football tournament of all time? I'm trying to think. 2002 World Cup. I'm struggling to find a better tournament that just...
how do you categorize whatever? But for why? Listen, I've got a lot of my own personal reasons for remembering and loving that tournament.
Yeah.
But any football fan, to see that amount of young players who went on to fulfill their potential, because that's a lot of times when you look at underage tournaments, and I follow a lot of underage tournaments because Portugal are normally there, and I like to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And here and there, you'll see players, and it lights up a tournament and disappears. Remember, Haaland scored 9 goals in one match, but there's very seldom a Haaland who then goes and progresses. And so many of those players, they disappear. Danny, for example, he dominated these youth tournaments, but never went on. And you see that often. For so many to go on and be dominant, Zanetti, Jorge Campos, Nwankwo Kanu. I mean, we're talking legendary, iconic.
That Brazil team. Get out of here.
Rivaldo, Flavio Conceição, Ronaldo. Come on.
Do you know who doesn't get enough sauce? Is Rivaldo. Because there was a 3-4 year period. He won a Ballon d'Or, by the way. But there was a 3-4 year period. And actually, I don't think his best football was at. It was probably just before Barcelona that got him the Barcelona move.
When he was at Espanyol?
But he
Or was it Deportivo? He was at Deportivo.
No, but he was just unstoppable.
But
There was a time when Rivaldo was just like an ox with a diamond cutter left foot and was just unstoppable. It looked like a anime game where he had the powers.
he got, yes. But, he wasn't very Brazilian.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think that's the thing with him. He was a Brazilian number 10, but he wasn't very Brazilian.
It's like Kaká. It's why Kaká doesn't get the love. Because he's actually a upper middle class kid.
Yeah.
Well raised, doesn't do the Robinho. Because they probably love Robinho more than they love Kaká.
Because he's Brazilian. He's joy. And also
He's
Rivaldo, that whole thing in the World Cup when he,
yes.
faked getting kicked in the face. I think that ruined his legacy a touch.
With people, huh?
But I've read things in Brazil of they're saying, look, he wasn't a Brazilian player. He was very strong, sturdy, workmanlike, moment of brilliance. But that,
European.
I mean, listen, you go back and a lot of people say that the turning point, even pre-Pep, pre-Rijkaard, the turning point for Barcelona as modern Barcelona was Rivaldo's hat-trick on the final day. Was it the 96 season? To get them into the Champions League.
Yeah.
Because without that, they were in huge trouble. Huge trouble. They could have disappeared. And that hat-trick, and I think he secured a last-minute bicycle kick.
I'm not shocked. He does not get the love. And, man, I remember watching him and thinking, my God. But just to go back to that tournament, by the way, great time travel with Paulo there. What you've just said has actually just struck me. The amount of sauce in that tournament.
Come on. I
The
mean,
amount of...
It's only striking you now.
There's
it takes you a
never
while
been
to
a
think about
tournament.
it.
There's never been a tournament like that. Ever. Where even... If you look at these great Euros competitions and whatever, is even established guys. We're talking about... You've named 10 legends there. It's tough to have a World Cup with 10 legends. That like players that went on to be this tournament.
And I can't stress, they were all kids.
Yeah, that's insane.
Makelele was
under
23.
23.
Makelele was 23. Robert Pires was 23.
Because potential's not a thing. Like, it's not interesting. I'm sorry. In the real world, I don't care about potential. It gets you fired. For so many to go on, and if you think in life in general, how few people take anything to the next level. For 15 of these guys to take it to the next level and be in the same tournament.
Nesta, Cannavaro, Buffon won the World Cup.
You're going to struggle to find a
Ronaldo, Rivaldo won the World Cup. Roberto Carlos won the World Cup. It's unreal. This was an unreal tournament.
Well said. Unreal, James.
It was not real.
It's actually unbelievable. Yeah.
It's unfathomable. It's without fathom.
And never mind, I mean, the Nigerian players are just legendary African footballers. I mean, just if you had to compile the top 10 of African footballers, 3 or 4 of them at least would be there.
We've never had another side like that 94 to 2000 Super Eagles. We've
But
never.
Aren't Nigeria known for a couple of golden generations? No?
No.
But this one fulfilled the potential.
That is insane.
They fulfilled their potential. And they weren't just decorations in big teams. They were the main men. They were, at Ajax, at Monaco, at Everton. They were like big, key players.
Babangida, he was at Ajax. I forget that. By the way, when Ajax were not like we talk about them now, where it's like, oh, these lads aren't bad. It's nice to watch technical football. Just remember, a guy called Louis van Gaal changed Dutch football forever. By rattling together a bunch of, what were they then, 19 to 21-year-olds. That included Edgar David, Clarence Seedorf, Patrick Kluivert, the De Boer brothers.
By the way.
Just Reisiger.
Danny Blint leading them all.
So no big deal.
But I think that Ajax team, the Ajax team that got to the Champions League semi-finals 2-3 seasons ago,
Against Tottenham.
if that team hadn't been broken up, because, I mean, that's Ajax's model. But if they'd kept that side for a season, that's very similar to Van Gaal's 95 Ajax.
It'd be interesting to see what they could have done.
It was interesting to see how that side got broken up, huh?
What's
After that semi-final, one went to Barca, one went to Juve,
happen.
the other one went to...
That's their business model.
Yeah, and that country...
Are they very much like... I mean, I know of Ajax and, are they very much Dortmund vibes?
They care more about clogs than they do football. No, that's their thing.
And as we discovered yesterday, God wears clogs, huh?
Enough said. You know what we should do with that, James, now that your mom knows you're blasphemous?
You said it yesterday.
Social media with James.
James. Give us some music, James. Let's finish off strong for today's show.
So
Click like if you're still with us on YouTube, by the way.
I'm not going to do my full segment for social media, James. I'll save that for tomorrow because it's way too long and it is almost 2 o'clock already.
Awesome.
So I will bring up a couple of other things.
Should we take some comments and we can finish like that?
We can, but I mentioned that one thing about Man United's point deduction.
Okay, let's hear it. Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear that.
Well, there hasn't been a lot out of it. It's just the Premier League have come forward and there is an investigation taking place, and Manchester United could actually genuinely not pretend like it's been in the last couple of years with Manchester City and their points deduction penalties. This is a genuine, real thing. Man United could have points.
They won't. They won't. They'll be given a warning, and next time you get 6 points.
You think so?
It's never going to
It's a smart way to do it. So because then you get violence again. That's what they're really scared of. So wait, what about the guy who slashed the security guy in the face? Is that because of that, or because there was a report that came out that a guy?
Oh, I also heard about that.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not related to that.
No.
All right.
No, different priorities.
Well,
Okay.
I think it's part of the rules that if it's your fault through your security arrangements that a game cannot go ahead, it's an automatic points deduction or at least a penalty. So what'll happen is listen, like I say, you knew the protest is happening. You knew it's happening. So why was there not
Beef
more
up the
security? That's why I do think there's some credence to that. The security let people in. But United should get a point deduction. I 100% support it, but they won't get it.
Go ahead,
If
James.
you know that there are protests before a game like Liverpool versus Manchester United, you should not use Arsenal's back line as your security. Just not going to work.
I tell you what, I don't put it past billionaires to do this, Paolo. Great. We'll win the PR battle. I wouldn't put it past them. And I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like conspiracy theory. These savages. Oh, but you guys are just giving them. They'll win the PR battle. And you see, look how they'll. Anyway, I'm just saying, look out for that as a thing that pitches up.
Before I get to the YouTubes, I just want to read the results of the poll.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually still 53 minutes left. Cliff C Sport on the tweets. Spurs are still on the job on the search for a new coach. Is the Tottenham job still desirable for top managers? Your options are yes, no, and it never was. 55% of people say yes, it's still a desirable position.
Interesting.
10% of people say it never was,
Which is a lot.
which leaves 35% of people saying no. It's not a desirable job anymore.
It is an interesting one. You know what, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Because
We will.
I do actually have some thoughts as to what I think about that job and why it isn't as desirable as it looks. But 55%, huh?
Imagine.
Hmm.
Onto
Levy.
the tubes.
Levy.
Kutles says the ownership vetting does not need to change.
Does need to change.
Does need to change. Sorry, new owners shouldn't be putting clubs into debt.
Unfortunately, that's how any business is run. Actually, you never put all of your money on your books. And quite frankly, if you start getting into those echelons, really, how they make, how billionaires become billionaires is they make their money with other people's money. So,
Billionaires are smart peeps, huh?
yeah, billionaires don't risk their own money.
That's what you're saying. Zapeta says the fans being absent has taken away from the vibe of the EPL and soccer as a whole. MKT, I watch the NFL and I enjoy it thoroughly, maybe because I watch for the sport and don't have loyalty to a team.
Hey, that's fair. Listen, the fans are a huge part. I'm not dismissing that. The game, and it's why I didn't like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher's position.
Yep.
This idea that football belongs to England is nonsense. The football belongs to all of us as the people. So this idea that it's better if it's British, it's better if it's ours. Firstly, it's short-sighted as a business model. It don't work. You can go and look at economics as to why you need to open your borders and trade with other people. But the game is for the people. It's global now. It's not about England. It's about football. Liverpool can shut down tomorrow. Football will live on.
Correct. Very correct. Kutle says, why weren't the Saudis allowed to buy Newcastle? The system should be more transparent. That was a whole thing,
Because
huh?
pen pushes. You always need to explain to the government. The government will never explain to you. It's just how pen pushing works. You don't have to like it. I'm just telling you the history of pen pushing.
Well, also what I understand about Newcastle is every time there's a bid, Ashley changes the goalposts. He misses deadlines. That's his way of doing business, and then they eventually pull out. So,
Do you know what I'd love? For Mike Ashley to buy Man United. It would be so great. And I love and respect Gary Neville. I just love to see the look on his face when it's their game.
When he reads
Oh,
it
you
on.
got what you wanted.
you got a British owner.
He understands British football.
There you
Because
go, buddy.
you know what the thing is? If it's not foreign, it'll be, oh, he's British, but he's northern. Oh, he's British, but he's southern. Oh, we don't want a Cockney owning a northern club.
There it is.
It's Brexit all over, guys. It's Brexit all over.
And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be some Oxford hoity-toity legacy kid. He's going to be 35, bored. They're going to give him Man United.
Like
Looking forward to
the
that.
Spotify kid. Oh, the Spotify
Daniel
kid.
Ek.
Yeah.
Daniel Ek.
Going to buy Arsenal. What do you think? Then, what do Swedes know? How can a Swede tell us he should stick to music? How can he tell us how to run our football club? Fans are never happy. They're never happy with anyone who will own them. Ever.
Apparently, Daniel Ek eats, sleeps, breathes Arsenal.
Sure. I'm
That's
pretty
what
sure
I
that's
heard.
what he does. And you know what he does?
Well, that's great PR.
You know
Good
what else
for
he
him.
does? He eats, breathes, sleeps music. That's why all the musicians are so happy with him, you know?
Did you see the meme last week? It's one of the AFTV guys in the Arsenal stand, and he's got headphones on, and said, I don't know what his name is, but what we can name
Ty's the guy with all headphones on all the time, yeah.
So it's like Ty busy listening to an Arsenal branded podcast so they can buy a centre forward.
Guys are saying if you're an Arsenal fan, go and invest in YouTube Spotify Premium.
There you go, huh?
Yeah,
Go buy them premium licenses for Spotify.
man, that's awesome. That is so good.
Kutle says Benny mustn't leave Amazulu. Safa will treat him as badly as Pizza.
I'm not investing in Bafana.
I can't invest.
And
in
that's
Bafana
such a great
Bafana.
comment, but I'm not biting.
Rickus.
Because you know what probably happened? They probably got two candidates. Carlos Queiroz, who came in and said, I want a top-down change. I don't just want the first team. I want down to under 14s. I want this whole thing ripped up. Or we got Benny, who's going to be so happy just to get the job that he will not question a thing. And one's going to cost more than the other. Who are you going to go with? Benny's going to cause less trouble than Queiroz. Queiroz wants it all. And he'll be the right man. Benny will be... And Benny's a great coach. Benny's a phenomenal coach. He's a phenomenal human as well. Fantastic guy if you've ever interacted with him.
No, I haven't.
What a guy. Real gent.
Amazing gent.
Real.
That is awesome.
He has not... The success he's had, still the only South African who's ever won a Champions League. One of the top scorers in the Premier League. Let's not forget
18
about
goals
as
at
well.
West Ham, huh?
And Blackburn did a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like our best modern day player.
For
best
sure.
modern day footballer, Benny McCarthy. Still Bafana record scorer? He is.
I'm not invested.
I think he's still the top scorer. But he's not going to cause hassle. He's not going to want to rip things up. I'll handle the first team and that's it. So who they're going to go for? The guy's going to give them less trouble.
Not going to give Safa a headache, huh?
Bunch of pen pushers and criminals.
And listen, Benny will deserve the job, and I think he'll do a good job. And he'll do the job that he's allowed to do, but nothing will change once he leaves.
You know what pains me from what you've just said? You're saying he's a good guy. In life, good things don't always happen to good people. In fact, more often than not, good things don't happen to good people. If you're saying he's a good guy, it's awful that that's the job he's going to get, because that's his advert. European guys don't care about the PSL. That's his advert to England. That's his advert to Portugal. What happened at South Africa? You lost. There we go. Get out, Benny. That's what's awful for me. Is if he goes to Bafana, it's the end of the road for him.
Yeah.
There is no way that goes well. There is no way Jose Mourinho, Prime Fergie, Carlo Ancelotti could do well at Bafana.
But you get guys like Queiroz and Hervé Renard, and you get quite a few Germans and Belgian guys who are career African coaches.
Yes.
They know how to play the game, and they just move on from one to the other, and they don't really take the baggage. Benny will get eaten up, and you're 100% right. He won't even get jobs like, Amazulu's a prestigious job,
Yeah.
but he'll battle to get Amazulu's after it.
No, it's true. It's true. Well said.
Nice, guys. That was a good analysis.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to bite, I said.
Rickus says,
I got you to bite.
You did.
I'm in the Garden of Eden holding the apple. Come here, have a little nibble.
It's a serpent. It's a story about a serpent. Paula's not a real snake.
Rickus just says, reschedule the match and start with a penalty to Liverpool. We know how good United has been this season when they conceded early.
We should close on that. That is the message of the millennium. Rick is
Look, Liverpool probably don't even have the strength to fight back.
so good. All right, Paulo, good stuff today. This was good stuff.
Yeah, that first hour was heavy.
That was good podcasting.
Was, huh?
Good good contenting.
That was good stuff from you guys. I was like less involved today,
Yeah.
but I did learn a lot, and the whole time I was invested.
But you were in the engine room, James. You were just like you were Deschamps,
Yeah.
and we were Zidane and Trezeguet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, we're not doing anything without Deschamps, so that was good water carrying.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
Well-oiled machine, huh?
Yeah.
Hashtag Waterboy.
Mm.
Please don't
You
give me
said
that
it.
nickname
Hey,
from now on.
I called him a stable boy yesterday. Hey, got a promotion. Hey, good things don't always happen to good people. Went from stable boy to water boy. Good for you, James. Shout out to you, dude. Promotion one day.
Look,
She's James.
you know, it's not easy being perfect.
What
Sure.
did I say the other day about giving people of James's generation like no promotions, just fancy titles, and they're happy with it?
Yeah.
I'm doing a full speech here. 'cause
That's
you
it.
Gave me a title.
He's the H2O specialist.
Lock, I
H2O is water, by the way, because you went to
I
after.
prefer aqua.
Aqua. Yeah.
Aqua
Aqua liaison. Officer.
liaison officer. There you go.
Wow.
ALO.
There it is.
Top class.
James,
lad.
honored to be around
And
you.
you are the chief growth
Chief Growth
officer,
Officer.
and you're just
alive. I'm just alive.
You're just the man driving the ship, huh?
Yeah, I'm just barely. I'm a man clinging on. I don't know if you can fit that on a business
For
card.
dear life.
Do you know what? I was trying to tell people what I'd like on my gravestone. He lived, he died. What do you think of that? They charge per letter. It's bloody the COVID economy.
Brief and to the point.
He lived, he died.
I got a friend in the tombstone business, so I could probably get you a good deal.
Hey,
Mm.
there we go.
Is am I allowed
He's
to make
not.
a
He's
joke?
not a hitman, by the way. He literally he makes the tombstones, not puts people in there.
Do you know what? Those aren't the people you need to be worried about because people are dying. That's going to happen.
That's what
It's
I'm
been
saying.
happening since time immemorial, James. And it'll happen for a little while longer till that alien Elon Musk figures it out. Put a chip in my brain. I'm going to live. I'm a robot. I'm 3008 years old.
I was gonna make a death joke after you said that you know you're a friend that does tombstones, but then I decided, don't do that, James.
Okay.
Processed it, but I'll save it for after the show. I'll tell you guys this joke after the show.
Appreciate it. All right, gentlemen. Good stuff. James, not sure what that was at the end, but
Average stuff today from James.
you're going through a lot. You just got a promotion, dude. Stable boy, water boy. Paulo, good stuff. James, great stuff. My name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. Please click like before you go if you're still with us on YouTube. Otherwise, if you are in the podcast world, you want to enjoy consuming this, I don't know, while you're jogging, while you're playing 10-pin bowling, while you're ignoring your husband. These are the things that people do, and they podcast during all of these things. It is the MKT Show. Please give us a like and a subscribe and a share, no matter what platform you are on. It's been an absolute pleasure. My name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. And for now, we are the hell out of here.